There is a popular theory that the moon is hollow. But by hollow, they don't mean empty. The moon is just the moon, right? Here's the current mainstream description of the moon's composition. NASA and many scientists say that the moon has an Earth-like core, but the moon has a mass of only 1.2% of the Earth, while being 1/4 the diameter of the Earth. So that is not entirely the same. Our moon is awfully light for its size. The latest evaluations claim that the moon has a solid steel inner core, but according to NASA, that solid core is only 150 miles in diameter. The rest of the core is pure conjecture. But even if they are right, the moon has the smallest core of any planet or moon in our entire solar system. Outside the core is the largest region of the moon, called the mantle. The lunar mantle extends up to a distance of only 50 kilometers or 31 miles below the surface of the moon. Scientists believe that the mantle of the moon is composed of the minerals olivine, orthopyroxene, and clinopyroxene, but they admit that this is pure speculation. It could be made of structures, a mesh of some kind. Let's not forget, claiming the moon is hollow is not the same as saying it is empty. The small steel inner core could be anything, including an energy source. The big question is, what is that mantle really made of? And why is it so light? And then there is the crust that rings like a bell. This was discovered when Apollo astronauts sent their lunar landing module crashing back into the moon's surface, so they could test the artificial moonquake with monitoring devices they had left behind. So the moon is a little more than 1/4 the diameter of the Earth, the only satellite in our solar system with that characteristic. No other planets have a moon that large proportionally, and yet the moon's mass is merely 1.2% of the Earth's. Without the moon orbiting precisely where it is, life on Earth as we know it would not exist. The moon affects our axial tilt, how the Earth wobbles on its axis, changing by a single degree throughout thousands of years. The moon gives us climatic stability. It's easy to calculate that without the moon, the Earth could tilt as much as 85 degrees every million years, which could be devastating for life. The sun's orientation would be too significant for life to evolve. After NASA conducted their tests, it was concluded that the moon and the Earth have similar compositions, although admitting that the moon is significantly less dense than the Earth. They could not explain how something with the same material would have a different mass. NASA claims the moon has a 31-mile crust of the mineral plagioclase, a mantle of olivine and pyroxene, and a tiny core of iron and sulfur. Plagioclase should be easy to drill into, but the Apollo astronauts had difficulty drilling into the surface of the craters. Shallow craters all the same depth with something below that is hard like titanium. All those craters result from meteorite and asteroid impacts, so their depth and width should be proportional. Instead, the vast craters have the same depth as the narrower craters. Some are even convex. And when astronauts attempted to drill down into the crater's base, they could barely penetrate the surface, finding metals like pure titanium. So the next big question is, does the moon's crust have a steel base that rings like a bell? If so, we have an artificial moon, a moon that is positioned perfectly to help life on Earth, a moon that creates a perfect eclipse of the sun. We need to have another look. Perhaps the Chinese can check for a back entrance and give it a knock. In 1970, two Soviet astronomers speculated that the moon is probably hollow and put in place by an advanced alien race. They based their theory on the many anomalies mentioned already. They also said that it might still be inhabited. Crazy as this seems, the reason for the abundance of inexplicable details remains unanswered. With a broad mixture of theories that attempt to explain how the moon ended up orbiting our planet, none are universally accepted. The abundance of refractory elements like titanium in the surface areas is so pronounced that several geologists proposed that the refractory compounds were actually brought to the moon's surface in great quantity in some unknown way. We do not know how, but that it was done cannot be questioned. The lunar orbiter experiments vastly improved our knowledge of the moon's gravitational field, indicating the frightening possibility that the moon might be hollow. No known natural process can explain such a structure. A natural satellite cannot be a hollow object. There's no astronomical reason why the moon and the sun should fit so well. It is the sheerest of coincidences, and only the Earth among all the planets is blessed in this fashion. Thanks for watching.